What's going on YouTube? In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can easily remove paint from an old piece of furniture. So back here we have an old hutch that's about 100 years old, maybe even more than that. So really old. Anyways, it was painted white back in the day, and when my wife got it, she decided she wanted to sand the white off. As you can see, it's a little bit sanded here. Doesn't look really good, but she wanted to get it painted, and she painted it silver, or not silver, but gray, and decided down the road she didn't like the gray. So now she wants to remove the paint fully and stain the original wood, because the wood's really beautiful here. So she wants to remove all of the paint on here, and she was trying to figure out an easy way to remove the paint. We decided to use sanders, like a little palm sander. We use an orbital sander that goes around in circles, and it just doesn't yield the results that we want. So what we ended up doing is we ended up using a heat gun. So we created heat, and then we started scraping it off with a scraper, and it works out really well and really easy to get it off. It might require more than one person to help out, but what I used is a little Wagner heat gun, paint stripper. They actually can call them paint strippers too. And it was about 15, 20 bucks. I'll link one in the description so you can check out yourself. They make quite a few different ones of these. This is probably a cheaper one. It has two different settings on the switch here. It's got a low and a high, so that way you can manage how much heat comes out. And then we use a little paint scraper, or a paint scraper. Actually, this is legit paint scraper. So as you can see here, this is all painted gray. And then here is the original white that was on it. And then here is what it looks like after the white's been scraped off. Now it does have a little residue here, which you can probably easily sand this out, fine tune sanding it. But you could even also go back and get the little nooks and crannies as best as you can. You may not be able to get everything, because as you can see here, this one has some fine detail here. So you're gonna have to use like a sponge sander, kind of like this right here, to get down and dirty right here to get this out. But the heat did really well to get this off. This is the first run here we did on this. So we can go ahead and do it again to make sure we get as much as we can off of here. But the paint scrapes off really easily. Here's an example of it being scraped off completely. That looks really nice. There's a few little pieces here, but we'll get that sanded off. And then that's what it looked like down there before we scraped it off. So in this area right here, as you can see, there's a little bit more finer detail right here and back there. So it's gonna be really hard to get the heat gun in this area right here and get the nooks and crannies. So we're probably gonna cheat this a little bit. I think we're gonna paint the back of this, maybe like a matte black or something, maybe a dark gray. That way it's gonna have the glass doors on this, but that way it's kind of, you can't really see any imperfections or anything like that. But that's gonna be the only part that's probably gonna stay painted, or at least be painted, versus this right here is gonna be just stained wood. So you might run into a situation like that where you're gonna probably have to figure out what you wanna do. That would take a lot of time to remove all that paint. It's up to you. You could probably get it all removed. It's already chipping a little bit here. I think it's because there was a board. Yeah, there was a board here that's out of this right now. So if you wanted to take a little bit of time or more time, it's up to you. It's your project. So you decide what you want to do. But that's what we're going to do. So I think we're going to cheat a little bit here and paint it a little bit on the back side here, and then the rest of it up here once this gets removed and all that. Well, that's probably going to be the same as this. but that's already removed over there. But we're probably, that was never painted, it looks like. But that's what we're gonna do, is cheat this a little bit, and that'll save us quite a bit of time and still look nice. So here's some of the tools that we used. Like I said, we got Wagner paint stripper. You can probably pick one up at your local hardware store, but I'll link one in the description so you can check it out. As well as this, the paint scraper that we're using here. They have different sizes. We're using one of these to scrape the paint, and they have many different sizes for this as well. But use what works for you and what size you need for your project. So I hope this video helps you out in some way. Gives you a little bit of an idea of how to remove paint from an old piece of furniture and get it to the wood, back to the old wood. Instead of using sander or palm sander or orbital sander or even a belt sander. You might have to use these at the very end of the day just to get to the fine tune or the fine little paint areas. But at the end of the day, using one of these is going to take a long time to get this paint off, especially if you've painted it with a paintbrush or anything like that. Because if you painted it with multiple layers of paint, it's going to take a lot of effort to get that off with a sander. So I hope this video on showing how to use the heat gun and a scraper and removing the paint is going to help you out. If this video helped you out in some way, please leave me a like. If you have any comments, questions, or opinions about what the process was, go ahead and put it in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. And if this is your first time, please consider subscribing, and I will see you next time.